now not only just kind of navigating sort of the confusing waters of how the tax world works, but now it's mysterious, right? Because there are so many things that the IRS is doing that they don't always do. In the last segment, we said that you're skeptical, maybe jaded and cynical, and maybe educated in the way that it may not be a kinder, gentler IRS, and that there could be some ways once they sort of regroup back from the pandemic and maybe get their footing, that it could be even tougher.
Well, they are talking about the budget, the IRS budget, because they want to go after, they keep telling you they're going after tax cheats. It's like the presidential election whenever they tell you they're going to get rid of fraud and abuse. And this is how they're going to pay for it.
Drain the swamp, right? That's what you got to do.
We're going to get rid of all the fraud and abuse, and then we don't have to raise anybody's taxes. But they never get rid of the fraud and abuse. And it's the same thing here with taxes. We're going to get rid of all the tax cheaters, all the cryptocurrency people who are cheating, all the billionaires. We're going to get them to pay. And in the end, who's going to pay is small business people. That's who's going to pay.
Now, why is that? Because, Steven, you'd think that at some point they could figure it out. Or is it just that your crypto criminals and your wealthy people who have really good attorneys to figure out the landscape and do that? Is that you're just always going to be a step ahead of people on the government side?
And they've been talking about getting that, getting them to pay their fair share for 30 years. Right. So is that going to stop next year? The answer is no, it's not going to stop next year. And they're going to still keep going up. So I always tell people, who pays the most taxes in our society? Small business people, because you're paying. If I'm an employee, my employer's paying half of my Medicare and half my Social Security. If I'm working for myself, I'm paying that. And so small business people don't set up correctly, and they pay too much in taxes. So if they can just organize better, they could probably reduce their tax bill.
We have a lot. Obviously, WGN Radio reaches 38 states in Canada at night, the greater Midwest at all times. And many of those people work in and around or are small business people. And so for some of the programs that are out there, we've talked about the child tax credit and the stimulus and some of those things on the business side. For restaurants, there were some programs that were built for that. For other businesses, are there any that you know of that you think, hey, this is something if you you should get in on?
You mean where the IRS is, because these were programs like for restaurants, they had the money where they had the grant money and they were giving out the grants, kind of like the PPP money.
Right.
These were.
Are there ways where businesses can kind of either defer what they owe on the small business side or maybe work around it, or maybe, I don't know, are there things in place to kind of support them?
Well, if you owe the IRS money, there's things you can do to pay them. And you have to take those actions in order, because they do have programs where you can pay what you can rather than pay what you owe. And there's a big